This episode of the Carolina Sports Guy, we're going to put a focus on the Carolina Hurricanes and pending UFAs, unrestricted free agents, restricted free agents, who we might keep, who we might lose, and who we got maybe waiting in the wings in the minors and in the farm system. If you haven't already subscribed, folks, please do. Doesn't cost anything. Hit the bell notification to be notified for more videos like today, whether it be on the Hurricanes, Carolina Panthers, or the Charlotte Hornets. And by all means, leave some comments. Let me know what in this video you liked and didn't like. Let me know what other content you'd like to see in the future. And by all means, folks, like I said, subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. All right, guys, Uncle Chucky here, Carolina Sports Guy. Kind of wanted to look, I know as the season goes on and got game 2 tonight. Probably when you see the video, it's over, and hopefully my Canes have won, and we've at least going back to Tampa with a split and not being down 0-2, so I'm hoping for good luck there. But saying that, upcoming videos, we're going to kind of look at Rod Brind'Amour and the situation we got with him staying with the Hurricanes. I'm kind of going to look at some of the expansion draft with Seattle, who we might end up having to leave out there and who we might lose. And of course, as free agency approaches, we get deeper into it, who we definitely are going to keep, who we're definitely going to lose, and some of the other free agents on other teams we might be looking at, as well as the 2021 NHL draft, because we've done a pretty good history recently of drafting guys and coming out ahead over other teams in these drafts. But first thing I want to look at is we're going to look at our forwards. I've got 5 unrestricted free agents and 3 restricted free agents. Now first we'll look at these 5 unrestricted free agents. And the one that stands out to me the most is Brock McGinn. I don't want to lose him. I don't know if we're going to hold on to him because, man, we got negotiations going on. You got Svechnikov and you've got Dougie Hamilton. But, man, he's a guy I really don't want to lose. I think a team might try to pluck him away. We got to do whatever we can to keep this guy. Jordan Martin. Now, he plays a crucial role. And he is a fan favorite, a locker room leader. He's a guy Rod Brind'Amour loves him playing for him. And a lot of people might think that Jordan Martinique is more valuable than Brock McGinn. In some ways, he probably is with his leadership. But the upside, the athletic ability, just who's going to score you more points, it's definitely McGinn. But Martinique is a very valuable piece, and he's also an unrestricted free agent. Now, the other 3 guys we got Drew Shore, who's an unrestricted free agent. He's kind of on that roster that doesn't really get in, so, hey, he's there for a reason. So if we lose somebody, it's not like looking at the farm system. This guy might be ready to go in and go. But if we were to lose him, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Max McCormick, he's played a little bit. His game's all right. I don't have a problem with him, but if we lose him, like I said, I'm not losing any sleep with what we got in the farm system and coming up in the draft. Cedric Paquette. Now, we got Paquette, and he played for Tampa Bay on these Stanley Cup winning teams. We got him from Ottawa in a trade where we ended up getting rid of Ryan Dzingel, who just never panned out. It was kind of terrible he didn't, but he just didn't. He didn't fit in. And Paquette, come in, played well. He's been injured right now, hadn't been in the games. I'm hoping he can get in. We could use him against Tampa. But here's a player that if we lose him, he's probably going to be looked at as a playoff rental or a guy that got us through the season. I'm more focused on making sure we can keep Brock McGinn as the unrestricted free agent in this group. And then Martinique, if we can do anything after that with the forwards alone. Now, restricted free agent-wise, Andrei Svechnikov. Now, he is by far player number 1 we cannot lose. And he's restricted. So, yeah, if another team comes in and offers him like he did Aho, we can match. But I hope we take care of it. And I really, before we even do Dougie Hamilton, I think the first thing this team needs to address is getting Rod Brind'Amour's contract straight away and done. But after that, man, Svechnikov is priority number 1. Even though he's restricted, I think he's even more important than Dougie Hamilton. Got to get the young man re-signed, got him here. Like I said, we got a little leeway because he's restricted. Another restricted free agent we have, Morgan Geekie. And I love Morgan Geekie's game. I want him to stay, especially if you lose a guy like McGinn. To me, Geekie can come in, and he might not be McGinn, but I mean, it's like 1A and 1B. You know, you're not missing too much of a step. And I just love his game. I know he's right there on the cusp, and probably the next man up if we end up having somebody come up on the roster to play. Warren Fogle. Warren Fogle's a restricted free agent. This is another guy. We start looking at these restricted free agents. Man, we've got some deep talent guys. I mean, between Martinick and McGinn and Svechnikov and Geekie, Warren Fogle's just as important. This guy's got a motor, he can play. And there's another guy, even if we only get him for a year or two and can keep him until he becomes a UFA, let's do what we can to keep Fogle here. So, I mean, there's guys right there, Svechnikov, Fogle, Geekie that are restricted, McGinn, and Martinick, unrestricted. Love to keep them all. Now, if I got to lose one, I'd say Martinick. I don't want to lose McGinn. If I've got to lose one of these, I can't even choose between Fogle and Geekie. I think highly of both of them, but them definitely Svechnikov is the one we definitely have to, restricted-wise. All right, who could come up and take their place? All right, I'm only going to focus on a few guys here. When we traded Justin Falk away, the popular defenseman, to the St. Louis Blues, and we brought in Joel Edmondson, and he didn't stick. We did get the draft rights of Dominic Bach. He's a left-wing, right-wing player. He's playing in the minors now. He might be ready to break out, and he's somebody to keep an eye on. If he keeps progressing, we can get him in. This is a guy we can bring in. Seth Jarvis, we just drafted last year. He's been looking pretty good from what I hear. It might not be, just any stretch in time before he's ready for playing the big leagues. Looking at some centers, man, we got a lot of them. Jamison Reese, he looks pretty good. We drafted him a couple years ago. David Cotton as well, someone to keep an eye on. Stelio Mateos, it's another center. Just really a lot of talent at center. And then Jack Drury as someone else that we can keep an eye on. And one more center, Ryan Suzuki. It's just a matter of time with his brother Nick playing in Montreal. Ryan Suzuki, he did have that eye injury, was hurt. But I see him and Jarvis, man, those two guys in Bach, those are guys that are going to probably get an opportunity to get in and play. Now let's look at our defensemen. Dougie Hamilton is an unrestricted free agent and probably is the biggest unrestricted free agent we have in this off season, and we're going to probably do a video in it alone later on. Yanni Hakanpää, the guy we got from Anaheim that we traded Hayden Fleury. I was planning on losing Hayden Fleury in the expansion draft anyway. I don't know if Hakanpää will be back. I love his big size, and maybe we can keep him. Somebody else pays him. You might be surprised. It might be a guy that Don Waddell and Tom Dundon see important to keep. Joaquin Ryan is an unrestricted free agent. And here's a guy that's bounced around a lot, Roland McKeown. Roland McKeown is someone who I'm shocked hasn't played more. And he's an unrestricted free agent, and he's just never been able to crack the roster, at least long term. I think between Ryan and McKeown, we're probably going to lose those guys, and maybe even Hakanpää. We've got to do what we can to save Hamilton. And then we look at our restricted free agents that are defensemen. And to me, even just as important, Dougie Hamilton, in my opinion, is Jake Bean. Because I know Ron Francis in Seattle are probably looking at Jake Bean thinking somebody can pluck away. That expansion draft is going to be key for him. I think we've got to re-sign him, but we've got to stock him in the expansion draft. We'll get that later, but he's too valuable, in my opinion, to give up. I've had to choose between Hamilton and Bean. Yeah, Hamilton's better right now, but long term I think Bean is going to be the better defenseman. Maxime Lajoie, who's played in some games here in the playoffs lately, he's a restricted free agent. I don't know how much we're going to keep him or what he's going to make a difference, but it's someone to look at. So out of those, concentrating on Dougie Hamilton first, but by all means keeping Jake Bean. Hakanpää after that, to me, would be important if we could do something. Roland McCown was so important for a period of time, but it might be time to move on from him. Now, what do we have in the minors? My God, it sure would be nice if we'd have kept Fox and wouldn't have traded him to the damn Rangers. But before, Fox would have been on our roster. He's a star. I hate that we gave up on him. But he didn't want to play here. He wanted to play in New York. So sit home on your ass in New York, Fox, and enjoy yourself while we're in the playoffs. But I do want to bring up two defensemen who are out there in the minors who could be called up. Joey Keane, we got him in a trade with the Rangers. And I think if it wasn't for Fox, I think it was when we traded Julien Gauthier, the forward. And Joey Keane, to me, is going to be valuable. I think it's a guy that can be brought up if we lose anybody on our roster as a free agent or an expansion draft. Keane's someone we can bring up. And then in the farm system as well, Jesper Silgren. That's someone to look at as well. We got others, but those are just two names I wanted to pull up there. And then, folks, we get down to our goalies. My God, our goalie situation. 4 goalies. And I'm not even getting into the ones that, because goalies take so long to develop. And a lot of times they play a career in the minors. First guy we'll look at is our one restricted free agent, the guy who started our playoff games, Alex Nedeljkovic. He's played well, looks good. I want him to be our number 1 goalie. If there's anything I'd change about his game, sometimes he just gives up some weak goals, like that goalie game up against Tampa that cost us a game the other day. And he'll stand on his head other times. I like his game, though. He's a restricted free agent. I definitely don't think he's going anywhere. We'll negotiate with him. He's not going whatever we sign him to. We're not going to expose him to the expansion drafts. He will be back. But then we got 3 unrestricted free agents. Antoine Bibeau, I guess. I haven't seen him playing the game. I guess he'd be the first guy called up if something happened to the other 3. He's an unrestricted free agent. Chances of bringing him back, the money's good. If we don't pay him too much, maybe. Peter Mrazek. Now, if I had to look at 2 goalies other than Nedeljkovic, I'd bring Peter Mrazek back. Let him be the backup to Nedeljkovic and let him start some games. I know he got injured with his thumb in the playoffs. He hasn't played as much. I'd hate to lose Peter Mrazek. I just think he's valuable, and it's somebody we need to resign. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't lose him, being he's an unrestricted free agent. The other unrestricted free agent is James Reimer. And the only way I'd keep James Reimer is if we lost Peter Mrazek and there was no other options and we needed to back up, bring Reimer back. But in my opinion, I get Nedeljkovic signed long term, and I turn to Mrazek, try to bring him in to split the games, get him signed, and I'd let James Reimer go. I just think it's time. Reimer's just an option if something doesn't work out with Mrazek, in my opinion. And that's where we're looking at, guys. What do you think? This upcoming all season for the Carolina Hurricanes can be very crucial. Leave me some comments below. Hit that bell notification so you can be notified of more content, whether it be about the Hurricanes, the Carolina Panthers, Charlotte Hornets, or major college sports in the Carolinas. Please give me a big thumbs up. Let me know you like this video. And by all means, folks, subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Help a brother out. And we'll see you next time on another edition of the Carolina Sports Guy.